Snoop Dogg is under attack. One of the world's most famous rappers, who's also notable for being a cannabis ambassador and being one of the most chill dudes on earth, is under attack by a group of folks who claim to be equitable, diverse, and inclusive. And the crazy thing is, when it comes to the Democratic Party, Snoop has always been ride or die for these folks. But now, this once fairly decent political party has been completely hijacked by ideological extremists and the media that supports them, sending the DNC's approval rating to its lowest point in American history. Just as low as when they lost the Civil War for supporting slavery.
Shit, boy.
And oddly enough, the DNC's mirror reflection, the DPP, seems to be suffering the exact same fate right here in our own country. Completely hijacked by ideological extremists and biased media propaganda. Which leaves a very important question. Will the DPP become the next DNC? Well, if you connect the dots, then you will see that it is all very possible. All you need is just a little bit of research. Yo, when it comes to research, there's only one tool you need. Perplexity. Fun fact, back in 2022 when Perplexity was first launched, we at Haltita were already on it, because when it comes to traditional research engines, you have to deal with a ton of results, and a lot of the top ones have been paid for or sponsored, and when you finally get to the real ones that you want, you gotta click and open every single one into multiple tabs that's impossible to keep track of, leaving you completely perplexed. But with Perplexity, it not only gives you accurate results, it gives you direct sources, so that you can see exactly which sites it pulls its answers from. Which is really useful for fact-checking, researching, and breaking out of your echo-chambered information bubble.
但是说呢，我有时候打字打得很不准呢，很多 typo 哎。
没问题, because you could ask Perplexity literally anything using the most simplest language, even with typos, it will fully understand what you mean. But what's even more important is that you can very quickly get Perplexity to explain very complex, in-depth results that may have some very techy professional terminology and have it give it to you in a language that even elementary students can understand. Which is exactly why it is the #1 tool for us here at Haltita, cause them traditional tools 真的跟不上欸. So, if this is your first time hearing about this Perplexity AI tool, 等我把这句话讲完后，你马上 pause this video, go to the pinned comment down below, and click the link to download Perplexity and sign up for the Pro Plan. And you know what? If you sign up for the Taiwan Daga Da's $5.99 NT plan or higher, you can get a full 1-year subscription to Perplexity Pro for free, son. And trust me, even without any sponsorship, I would recommend Perplexity to everyone, cause it is literally the best tool you will ever use. So now that you've got your perfect research tool, all you need is some delicious fuel. 准备的爆米花 because for the 左派真的是代志大条。So the DNC, aka 民进党 1.0, has recently encountered some serious trouble. And if this trouble continues for another 3 years, it is very possible that the Democratic Party will completely cease to exist.
New data reported by the New York Times could be a major warning sign for the Democratic Party. Voter registration data showed a party that is rapidly losing voters in every state that tracks registration by political party. From 2020 to 2024, the data showed a 4.5 million voter swing from Democrat to Republican in the 30 states tracking party affiliations, with Dems losing 2.1 million registered voters and Republicans gaining 2.4 million.
Bro, the DNC support hasn't been this low since Bush 1 was in office. In fact, if you go back just a little bit further, about a couple hundred years in history, the Democratic Party's approval rating is even lower than when they lost the Civil War for supporting slavery, and I kid you not, were labeled the Treason Party, resulting in them not winning another American presidency for the next 20 years.
That's crazy, man.
But hey, I guess that's what happened when you don't pay black folks for their hard work. But they certainly do want to pay them now, don't they?
Why are voters turning away from your party? What is the problem?
Most of that activity, as I understand it, has occurred in Florida and Texas. And certainly it is the case that nationally we're going to have to invest more in these 2 red states. At the end of the day, it's also going to be important for us to continue to make clear to the American people what we stand for as Democrats. We believe in a strong floor and no ceiling. In this country, you work hard, you play by the rules. There should be no ceiling as to what success you can accomplish for yourself, for your family, for your children, for your grandchildren, and your community. At the same period of time, we do, as Democrats, believe in a strong floor. That's a strong floor that is anchored in Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, veterans benefits, nutritional assistance, and the Affordable Care Act, the things that Republicans are actually trying to detonate. That's the difference between Republicans and Democrats, and the more we can lean into what we stand for as a party, the better off we'll be moving forward.
And the worst part is, the DNC is completely clueless about what's wrong with him. This guy is literally the House Minority Leader, and all he can do is regurgitate DNC party slogans and empty talking points amounting to a shit-filled word salad.
We cannot be the only party that's playing by the rules anymore. That's why I said this isn't your grandfather's Democratic Party where you bring a pencil to a knife fight. We are bringing a bazooka to a knife fight.
So these goobers actually think they're not on some extreme shit and that they're actually following the rules, honestly believing that their epic fail was due to them being well-mannered and behaved. But it ain't just them, yo. Even the media propaganda arm that props them up thinks the exact same way.
Disney's boy trouble. Studio seeks original IP to win back Gen Z men amid Marvel Lucasfilm struggles. Leadership at Walt Disney Studios has been pressing Hollywood creatives in recent months, multiple sources tell Variety, for movies that will bring young men back to the brand in a meaningful way.
6 years ago, Marvel was the movie company with the most male viewers. And at that time, I would watch anything they release. But now, you gotta pay me to watch that, yo. And just like their DNC overlords, they have no idea where they went wrong.
It's because of like Ironheart. Preachy, unimaginative, derivative, low-effort crap, recycling ideas that have already been done far better, only with a DEI paint job slathered all over it. It's the very worst of everything audiences dislike about your brand now, and it's the reason you're probably gonna have 3 failed movies in a row this year.
Preaching, being unoriginal, and repackaging old ideas, and claiming to be diverse and equitable. This sounds like every terrible DNC policy for the past 15 years. Just like American policies under the Biden administration and American rhetoric spat out from the mouth of Kamehameha Harris.
No, you're right.
我的台湾朋友，你觉得这些极端的 bullshit 很眼熟的话，我跟你讲起来 the next plot you're about to see will feel like very, very familiar, yo. Because a much beloved American political figure is about to say something that doesn't align with the DEI values of the American 左派, and they're about to completely skewer his ass. Woo! 事情真的很大条咯。
The countdown for the 2020 presidential election is underway, and Snoop Dogg will vote for the first time in his life. While he hasn't explicitly said he'll be voting for former Vice President Joe Biden, as of the making of this video, the rapper did allow his hit track Drop It Like It's Hot to appear in a 60-second ad promoting ballot drop boxes in partnership with the Democratic Party. The official Democratic National Committee clip released on October 12th sees masked voters dropping off their votes into official drop boxes in their communities while his catchy tune plays in the background. Snoop said in a statement, "This is the most important election of our lifetime, and it's my first time voting. We need every single American to get out there and vote. It's time for y'all to drop those ballots like they're hot in your local drop box. Vote early and let them know our voices will be heard."
Snoop Dogg. This man fits every negative stereotype of African Americans that you've consumed on white-owned television, and he loves the DNC in his bones. Or at least he did anyway. From their DEI and LGBTQ values, he was hardcore for them all the way up until 2020.
While Snoop acknowledges the difficulties gay rappers face, he personally feels much differently. In his own words, "I don't have a problem with gay people. I got some gay homies." But let's shift the spotlight for a moment and explore the enigma surrounding Snoop's own sexuality. The internet has been ablaze with debates, rumors, and speculation, but one thing is clear: Snoop Dogg has remained tight-lipped. He has skillfully dodged questions about his sexual orientation.
Now that may be surprising to a lot of y'all, but it sure ain't to me. Shit, I wouldn't be surprised if Snoop took a dog pounding or two. But what does that matter? I mean, he's a grandfather now.
I don't apologize, man, because a lot of my fans get mad at me when I talk bad about him, but I think it's safe to say most people in our culture do not.
Well, you need to know that a lot of your fans is racist. Ain't no fucking way around. Don't even try to put no cut.
I don't even want to put anything around it.
I do. I don't give a fuck. I tell him straight up, motherfucker. If you like that nigga, you motherfucking racist. Fuck you and fuck him. Now what?
All right.
Draw the line. He drew the lines.
Exactly.
He drew the motherfucking lines. Before him, there were no lines. Everybody was everybody. We respected everything. We didn't trip. But nigga, when you drew the line, you can start pointing motherfucking and saying, nigga, fuck y'all then, nigga.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You and them.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking
Kanye
about Donald
too. Don't forget about him too.
Snoop, the cannabis ambassador, seems sweet on the orange man now, but once upon a time, he hated that orange nigga in his bones, making it very clear where his political loyalties lied. So what made a guy like this suddenly so willing to perform at Trump's parties post-re-election? Well, let's take a look at what happened and you will be crystal clear why.
What you see
It's what you see. They put it everywhere.
Yeah.
I took my grandson to see, what was the movie with Buzz Lightyear?
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
the new Buzz. The Lightyear. I think it's
yeah,
called
with
Lightyear.
Kiki Palmer's in that movie.
Okay.
She plays like the daughter. So we watching it, and the lady, which is Kiki's mama, they move on into the space years, they move down the line, they're like, man, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson, in the middle of the movie, like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. Hey, man, watch the movie. They just said she and she had a baby. They both women. How did she have a baby? Shh. The movie ain't over with. So it's like, I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for.
Now, this came from a podcast just a few days ago, where Snoop, who is now in his 60s, was trying to share the struggles of him trying to explain to his grandson in the middle of a crowded movie theater about how a lesbian couple could have a baby. He didn't say anything about hating or being against gay folks, but it didn't matter at this point because they were about to go in on his ass.
This man is upset because he had to explain that people who are not straight exist, as if that was a difficult thing for him to do. This is the type of weaponized incompetence that has allowed anti-LGBTQ, anything anti-gay, to exist as long as it has, because for some reason, people want to act like gay people don't exist. And then they're like, well, don't shove it down my throat, even though every single movie and every single cartoon made centers heterosexual love stories. So if anything is being shoved down our throats, it's the expectation that it should only be a man and a woman and that a man should chase a woman. Let's not get into the early Disney days where apparently y'all can use that to tell women that they're being delusional. But we were all inundated with the same propaganda about heterosexual relationships. So pick one. You can't sit up here and be like, well, I don't want gay anything in media, but I also don't want y'all to sit up here and believe the propaganda of heterosexual love. Like, which one is it? Because y'all are really pissing me the fuck. The fact that he really thought that this was where it was at, he's done.
He is done. She used many things Snoop never said and accused Snoop of being anti-LGBTQ+++, declaring that he is completely done.
So let me get this straight, my loves. Snoop Dogg is scared to go to the movie theaters because of LGBT plus representation. This right here is a perfect example of people want gay and queer and trans and non-binary people to not be seen and just go off on the island and not exist. Newsflash, queer, gay, trans, and non-binary people have always been here. We are here and we're always going to be here. Here's the thing about it. If you didn't know how to explain it to your grandchild, then maybe you should have educated yourself. And that's all what a lot of gay, queer, and trans and non-binary people ask for is education. Why don't you educate them? You don't have to tell them all the details, but you can educate them in the fact that LGBTQ plus and gay and queer people, we are humans. So you could have used this as an example or a moment to humanize gay and queer trans people as simply people, even if you don't agree. What you gotta agree upon is that we are all human beings. Sorry, Snoop Dogg.
Now, maybe you guys saw something different from what I saw, but to me, it was very clear that Snoop was having trouble explaining to his grandkid how lesbians can have a baby in a cartoon movie, not because he's clueless, but because the middle of a crowded movie theater is probably not the best place. Because if you've ever been to a movie theater in America, then you know the moment you open your mouth, folks are gonna start shushing your ass and maybe even throw popcorn at you. Or even worse, if you, a straight man, starts talking about some gay shit, there might be a gay dude or a gay woman in there who calls you out for not being qualified to even talk about it to a kid. But regardless, now it's morphed into this whole Snoop doesn't consider gay people humans campaign.
Snoop Dogg is in the midst of the most monumental fall-off in human history. How do you go from being the poster child of coolness to complaining about how you're afraid to take your kid to the movies because they might see some gay shit? Like, Snoop Dogg historically was always on the right side of things, which is why we liked him. Before he was tap dancing for Trump, he was openly talking about how awful Trump is. And prior to the comments that he just made, I've seen him embrace his LGBT fans multiple times over the years. So I really don't know where this is all coming from. Like, he is absolutely the last person that I would expect to adjust their ideologies for anyone. Also, when are conservative men gonna realize that being homophobic makes you look like the biggest fucking wuss on the planet? Like, y'all claim to be so macho and masculine, but you're afraid of rainbow flags. You're afraid of seeing two dudes kiss. You're afraid of the most harmless shit known to man.
So in the eyes of the liberal hive mind, Snoop has become homophobic, just like me. Last year, I was invited once again to perform at the annual Pride Parade, which I've played nearly every year for the past 5 years. But because I made several videos calling bullshit on the extreme LGBTQ community and child grooming and child transitioning to warn Taiwan not to become equally as crazy, my invitation last year was rescinded. In fact, one of the very organizers of the event told me to my face that I was problematic and no longer welcome. So now you understand how Snoop can go from wagging his tail to the left to now wagging on the right for the orange man, rapping and DJing at Trump's after parties. The extreme DNC supporters have gone so far off the deep end that even this guy has had enough, because anyone who doesn't conform 100% to their ideology immediately becomes an enemy. And that is a tune that even this cannabis smoking chill as fuck gangster rapper cannot crip walk to. And in spite of all this, even now the DNC, which has its lowest approval rating in history and has even lost 2.1 million supporters, can't even see where they went wrong. Shit. So let this be a lesson. When it comes to ideology, politically, or even religiously, think of it like smoking a cigarette. Yeah, it might relax you, make you feel real smooth and good. But when you do it in public and you blow it in people's direction, for those of us who don't smoke, secondhand, real talk, that shit fucking stinks.
Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!